These are the dark holes I fell into this week. We have the hottest disabled chicks with OnlyFans. This was something that was brought up briefly on the last podcast, but I kind of wanted to dive deeper into it and did a bunch of research. It's a limited bunch, but a good bunch. Quite a good bunch I put together for you guys. Then we got a mixture between fighting type Pokemon and that what happened last time with Conor McGregor, or last week with Conor McGregor, that him on that gambling platform. It was probably the highlight of my week. I think that thing. But the fighting type Pokemon's just been sticking in my brain for a bit. I wanted to talk about it. And then we also have a write-in from a guy who stole his friend's mom's nudes. That's the beginning and end of that statement. All today on Dark Holes. All right, guys, let's first acknowledge the change. If you're an audio listener and it sounds a little bit different, it should sound still very good. Should sound very good. But I'm recording from home today. So I have a different setup. It was a pain in the ass to get this going, to get the software working so I could have my fucking camera as my webcam. I've never done that before. At one point, all my USB ports stopped working on my computer. I have no idea why the fuck that happened. I restarted like 4 times. They still weren't working, and then it just started working. But anyways, the studio where I normally record at Gas Digital, and they just had Skankfest, which is a big festival that they have. So there's no one in the studio. I don't know if it's the whole week. It's at least over my recording day. So in order to get you guys an ep, I'm committed to the pod. I'm recording from home. So the audio might sound different just because it's not in a studio space. It's just in my apartment. So I've turned off fans and shit. So it's not buzzing. There's also no producer this week. This is all just me working it. And we're going to try and do it the best we can, which I think is still pretty good. I think it looks good. It's a different look for sure. If you're an audio listener, you want to come check the video, you can come check it out. It's not some drastic change. It's not like I set up. So I'm just literally in my living room with a single cam shot, as we normally do, set up with my pod. But the audio should still be awesome because actually I don't want to get too close because I know if I'm really close, it gets a lot of those, and I don't want too much of that in there. But it should still sound very good because I'm on the same type of microphone. It's the same type of mic. It's a Shure mic, which is like your standard podcasting mic. It's a newer. This thing's pretty brand new, so it should be popping. But anyways, just wanted to acknowledge that right away. Next week we'll be back in the studio. It's pretty much the same fucking experience for you guys. And I need Celsius. We're on a Celsius today. Watermelon Celsius for sure. Watermelon. Wild berry is so fucking hard to find. I find it in certain places sometimes. They know that the wild berry contains the elements to the truth. Is that what they know? They know that you will find the truth if you drink the wild berry Celsius, and they're keeping the truth from you guys. But let's start off strong. So last week we covered Speedy Jasmine, and who is a disabled OnlyFans creator. She's in a wheelchair and just super hot, big old titties, very hot face, really sells the butt play. She's like, hey, stick in my butt. I won't even know. I won't even know if you go in my butt. So it got me thinking. It got the wheels a-turning to what other ladies are out there that have OnlyFans and are also disabled. I was just going to do a list of the hottest disabled chicks, but I think if you don't have an OF, you're not necessarily putting content on the internet to be like, sexualized. Where if you do have the OF, you're kind of like, I want you to think I'm sexy. I want you to do those kind of things. So I specifically went for the chicks who have the OnlyFans because I feel like this is so, and also, yes, everyone knows, non-sponsored. I do this out of the goodness of my heart just because I'm interested in the platform and the creators. But let's get right into our first one is Alex Enid. It's Enid. Enid. Now, if we're ranking them, so it's a list of 6, I believe, because it was I could have put more on there, but it was within the realm of like super hot and also disabled, but also like sometimes the disabilities got so intense that I felt kind of bad. I felt sad that they were disabled, and I thought that wasn't like, I didn't want to make anyone upset when I was doing this, which is like, okay, I don't want to get too much into that because I'm like, it's making me sad right now. But Alex, I would put Alex at the end of the list. If it's a top 6, she's at the end simply because compared to the other people on the list, the least disabled. I would say the least. She does have a disability, but some of these people are more severely disabled. She had some sort of bowel surgery, and she has to wear like a bag permanently. So it's like one of those poop bags, which people do get freaky with. I did a show in, I think it was Tampa Bay. Was it Tampa Bay? I can't remember what city it was. There was some city I was in where there was a nurse who talked about how, I think it was North Carolina. Where a nurse talked about, or it was Houston, doesn't matter. A nurse talked about how people who have the like second butthole, where they have to remove part of your colon, and then you have that sort of second butthole that you put a bag on, or even the throat holes. People get freaky with those. People get freaky with them, okay, guys? So if you're wondering, it's like, hey, you ever get down with that throat hole? They do. And not all of them. I'm not saying every single person with a throat hole is shoving some big schlongo in there, but some people do. I don't know if Alex does. I don't think she would. She seems like it seems like the people who do it are a little unhinged. I think she's a well put together person. But she's hot. She's got a bunch of tattoos, red hair. If you're a video listener, there's a picture of her up right now. Video listener, video watcher. There's a picture up right now, and you can see her. But at least, and then the second one on the list too, I would also put her further down because again, not as disabled as the rest. Very hot though. This is where do we got this here? Lola Manson. Lola Manson. She's tiny. Think of like 5 foot, maybe 4'11". Chonko thighs. We got big, thick, but she's got big, thick thighs, big, thick butt, and like just a meaty body, but not in a sloppy Sunday sort of way. It's more in a condensed, like power stance kind of way. Like think of like a spring that's about to erupt. She's got that female rugby player type fit. Maurice Jones-Drew, if you remember him, Mighty Mouse. Played in the NBA. Oh, you can probably hear this guy does this. This guy, I don't know who the fuck this guy is. I don't know who the fuck you are. You guys probably heard that. He does it 3-4 times a week, and I hate it. Okay, here's the thing with the loud car. Now we're on a different tangent because that just fucking happened. I think it must be fun driving a loud, fast car. And I think you should be able to do it. There's, of course, that famous South Park episode that talks about the bikers and their loud bikes. I won't bring up what the name of the episode was or what they call them. But you don't do it in the city. Don't do it in the city. That's the only thing. Is like you're out in the fucking open road or in the country where people are very spread out. Every time you rip down the street in your fucking loud, and you don't get to go anywhere. That's the thing in the city. You don't go. You're going red light to red light to red light. It's gridlock. It's traffic. You're not ripping just like speeding down the open road. That's fun. That's great. Here, you're just ripping from red light to red light, and there's probably, who heard that just now? Maybe 10,000 people who are just like, oh, fuck, I'm recording. Whatever I'm doing, I'm enjoying my peace. Of course, I live in New York City. Maybe I should shut the fuck up, huh? I live in New York City. I'm complaining about the lack of peace. I did this to myself. Okay, we're done on that sidetrack. Okay, but Lola Mason, she's got blue hair, tiny, compact, little powerful chick. Like, I bet she could probably leg press at least 4 plates on each side. 4 plates. That is my guess. Minimum guess for her leg press. She's so compact. Like I said, little Maurice Jones-Drew type bod, dude. But yeah, spinal deformity, not that intense. Of course, I'm sure if she hears this, she goes, not that intense, dude. My spine is deformed, you fucking idiot. But I'm not judging you based on able-bodied versus disabled. I'm judging you based on disabled versus disabled in this specific disabled list. And I will tell you, the disabilities get more intense. And I've saved the best for last, not in terms of disabilities, but the hottest ones. I didn't save the best disabilities for last. Oh, we got some spicy disabilities that you didn't even think about. No, I did not do that because that would be a little bit much. Okay, now we're getting into slightly more disabled. Slightly more. Much more disabled. We got Maria Alejandra. No legs, but like a bit of leg. She's got stump, but no hinge, no knee. So it just goes almost like right at the knee or right above the knee, up. But very hot. A lot of meat on the bone with this one. Latina. As I've said before in the pod, Latina's probably the hottest version of human. I would say like across the board. Latina chick that's whatever went into that mix that made the hottest human being of all time. I mean, you can have your preferences. They are whatever they are, but I think that's where we figured it out. I think that's where the genetics went. We'll make the hottest here. The smartest, you guys use your own racism for that. I'm not going to help you with that. You figure that out on your own, okay? But yeah. Very hot, very attractive, Latina style, long hair, dark. Let's move on to our next. Carly Rose. Carly Rose, something I like about the Carly Rose, tattoos. Love tattoos on a chick. She also has a couple things where she's in like some bondage and stuff like that. She's tied up. She's in a wheelchair, by the way. You're probably wondering, what's her disability, dude? Let me know the goods. Yeah, she's in a wheelchair. So that she's all tied up, which is like, is it really that necessary? She wasn't really getting anywhere, dude. You didn't have to tie her up. Just put her at the bottom of some stairs. Okay, we're moving on. Moving on. Okay, now I think we're in our top guys here. Our top two. So we'll go right. We'll say Speedy Jasmine. Speedy Jasmine is, of course, on the list because Speedy Jasmine is stupid hot with all the things we mentioned on the previous one. But one I will put above Speedy Jasmine. I think this chick's hotter. Now, Speedy Jasmine has a pretty perfect face. Face is unreal. I think Speedy Jasmine has a better face than this girl. But this girl's bod. And you've seen her. Oh, someone's calling? Now it's not the time. I'm podding right now. I can't take a phone call when I'm podding. Jesus. Angie Brebuer. You've probably seen her. If you follow my content closely, you have seen this chick before. This is the German chick that has no legs. Also no legs. This chick's ass is so fat and her bod is so crazy hot that the first video I saw her in, her ass is so fat and so juicy. She's like in the gym putting on her spandex and all that kind of shit. And she's kind of like snapping the spandex. You know, when girls really get it up in the butt crack and then they like snap it up and the ass sort of like like a waterbed jiggles all around before it sets in its place that's going to sit in. I didn't even notice that she didn't have legs. That you have to have a pretty high tier ass for me to not notice that you are missing 2 limbs. There's those sirens. If you guys hear them, the sirens. Ooh, that sounds like a bunch of stuff. They're probably going for Mayor Eric Adams, which we won't be covering. I don't know fuck all about what's going on with the mayor. I know people think he's sketchy and it's like, okay, I don't know. You're a mayor. You're probably doing sketchy stuff. Isn't that what mayors do? Mayor Quimby? Didn't he do sketchy stuff in The Simpsons? That's how I learn about politics, via cartoons for adults. Oh my God. The Celsius is good. So good. Okay. What was it? Oh, yeah. I would say she's number 1. I would say that's number 1 hottest chick. So that's the list. Alex 6, Lola 5, simply based on not as disabled. Then We got, was it Alejandra next? Yeah, Maria Alejandra, Kate, Carly Rose, Speedy Jasmine, Angie Brebuer. That is your, my fucking screen just turned off. That to me, that's the top 6 hottest chicks with OnlyFans who are disabled. If you have some that you know that I didn't touch on, please send them over to me and I'll go dig into them and I'll figure them out. Yeah. Whoa. That was a good guy. That's the same dude. I'm going to find you. Ashley, I'm over it. All right, guys. What's going on with me? Mid gym last week. Very mid. I went only 3 days. I did do every strength training day, and I did run every day. So, like I said, mid. It was, I'm trying to shoot for 6. I know 6 is a lot, but I'm trying to shoot for 6 days a week. And I basically want to do 3 days of strength training with cardio and then 3 days of like full body workout with cardio. That's what I'm shooting for. So last week we just did 3 days. I did my bench strength, my squat strength, and I should tell you what my lifts are at. And then I did my deadlift strength. So for last week, for bench, I did 185. Is it 185? Yeah, it's a 45. So yeah, 185. I did 185. First set I did 5 reps. Because if you guys don't know, I'm doing 5-5 training. So I do 5 sets, 5 reps, 5-minute rest in between. And that's supposed to help you build your strength quite effectively. And it is. I feel like I know, I don't feel like I'm any stronger. I can see my lifts going up. And I'm sure, like, I don't care. If you're some fitness guy and you go, it's not optimal. I know everyone in fitness and health community, both those communities, their thing is right and everyone else is wrong. I know how this works. I don't care. I don't give a shit what your thing is. This is just what I'm doing. It works for me and my lifestyle, blah, blah, blah. And your thing is right, by the way. So you don't even have to argue with me and tell me why I'm wrong, because I know your thing is right. I'm just not doing it out of my own ignorance. Just that's the only reason why. Okay. So we finished that. So I did 185 on bench. For first set was 5, then 4, 4, 4, 4. And then once I can do 5 in every set easy, then I add 10 pounds and go up. That's how it works. That's how you increase. Deadlift, I did. Now I'm doing hex bar deadlift, which I think I might have mentioned before, which I know negates some stuff. Again, blah, blah, I don't care. What did I do for the hex bar? The hex bar was 375, and I think I did 5, 4, 3, 3, 2 for my reps. And then squat last week, I did, it would be 205. I did 205, 5 sets of 5. And this week I did 215, 5 sets of 5. That went up easy. I recently went down in squat because I decided I'm like just squatting as low. I was kind of doing to 90 before, and now I'm like, well, just go lower weight and just go all the way down. I was talking to a guy who's like, yeah, just squat deep. Some dude I was talking to, he was like, just squat deep. What are you doing? Don't be a pussy. Squat deep. So I squat deep now. I squat deep. So next week I'll be up to 2 plates squatting deep. Squatting deep, dude. We're squatting deep. Struggle bus. Yeah. So I'm going to go get tested for ADD because this happens to me. Everything's going good. I'm focused. I'm getting work done. And then yesterday was a huge struggle bus day, man. Like I just get like, I'm not overwhelmed with life, just like overwhelmed with like a need for dopamine or something. And like I get in this cycle where before I would enjoy it because I would usually do it as a day off, but now I'm trying to like keep it at bay and it's hard. But so it was video games, food. Actually, I didn't eat till the end of the day. So it was more video games and jerking off. Those were the two that just were like back and forth, 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 back and forth. And then I would be like, I gotta get some work done. And then it would just like fucking start getting into my head again. And I would be like, and I would find it so hard to get the work done. I did get a little bit of work done in the day, but not as nearly as much as I would have liked. So there was a struggle bus day yesterday, but I managed to, today I started, the good thing about when I have a struggle bus day is I usually eat a bunch of garbage at a certain point, which I did at like the end of the day. And that makes me really tired. And then I go to bed and then I wake up early the next day and I wake up early and go, okay, we can start with a productive day today, which I've done. This whole setting up the podcast and with this shit ate up so much of my fucking day, so I didn't get as much done as I wanted to, but there's still some day left that I'll go take care of that stuff later. Sun is going down though, so we're gonna hold on. How does this look? It looks a little that's the only way. We're just turning the light on and off right now. I don't know, it's not my favorite lighting setup. It's not my favorite, but it's what we got. It's what we got right now. I might be able to find another little light somewhere. Actually, I think it's... we don't have to do that. I think it's okay. We might just see this episode get darker and darker as the episode goes on. And then on the Patreon, I think the sun just went behind a cloud or something. See, I wanted to start recording earlier, but the setting up this thing was such a pain in the ass. Anyways. So yesterday was struggle bus day. Today, back on track. I squatted today, as I told you guys, and so we've been working, getting stuff done, been doing good. Patreon ep this week. So the Patreon ep this week, we're going to be talking about Pesto, which is that sort of rival to Mudang, the penguin, which I don't really care for. I don't care for Pesto, just to give you a little insight. We're going to be talking about bad-dragon.com, this was actually a write-in that was like, hey, check this out, and then like ruin your day or something like that is what they said. So I was like, okay, well, I'll go look at what bad-dragon.com is. And it ended up me going down the darkest dark hole that I have gone down yet. It opened my eyes to a whole world and people and I guess industry would be a way to put it, or culture that I didn't even know existed. I knew, I'd seen pieces of it before, but I didn't really understand the extent of how far it went. But yeah, if you want more info on that, go check out the Patreon for bad-dragon.com and my views on that. And then soccer goalies. I just got on this kick of watching soccer goalie videos because sometimes I find them so funny. And if you're a big soccer fan and that pisses you off, I don't care. I get into it on the Patreon app. Tour dates. This is coming on the Thursday. So tonight I'll be in Pittsburgh. Then we're in Tampa the next night. Cincinnati the night after that. The week after that, I'm in Uncasville, Connecticut. Then we got a whole bunch of new dates. I'm in Spokane. I'm in Louisville, Toronto. Tickets are available now. I mentioned that in the last pod. That tickets weren't up yet. Tickets are available now. We're going to be in Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Lexington, Appleton. All these tickets. That's Lexington, Kentucky, by the way. Appleton, Wisconsin. Everyone knows what that Tulsa is in Oklahoma. All tickets are available at shaderana.com. You can get all your tickets over there. Okay, let's get into it. Fighting type Pokemon. How deep into that part are we? Oh, fuck, we're already 24 minutes in. Shit! Fighting type Pokemon. So fighting type I think is my favorite type of Pokemon. And I think it's just such a hilarious addition. One thing, normal types, let's get this out of the way. Normal types suck. No one cares. If you have normal types in your lineup, they suck. It's like a fucking cow or a rat or some shit. No one gives a fuck about the normal type except for Kangaskhan, and I think it's one of them. That one is fucking sick. It's like a giant dinosaur that's also like a kangaroo mixed together. That guy fucking rules. That guy was always a cool dude. I think he gets to hang out with the rest of the Pokemon. But normal, it's like, who wants a normal type Pokemon? And I don't care if you're like a Pokemon master and you've played all the games. You go, actually, normal type are very effective at learning blah, blah, blah. I'm sure they have some sort of advantage, and that's the reason they exist in the game. It's just lame. I bet normal types can learn like a large array of moves or something like that. But it's just lame. Normal type? But I like that fighting type exists. Because you have shit like ice type, fire type, psychic, dark. Some of these are concepts. Dark type? What is it? It's evil? It brings a cursed presence with it? You have some of these things that exist in such a higher realm. Psychic, I can attack you in your mind, dude. Which fighting types are weak against? Of course. Someone's fucking with your brain, how are you going to punch them? But there's a group. You can literally be fighting a ghost A ghost, dude. A ghost dragon. Let's say there's probably a crossover. I don't know all the Pokemon types, but I bet there's a ghost dragon crossover. Ghost dragon Pokemon on the scene, breathing some sort of spectral death at you. And then you got a fucking Hitmonchamp. Just a couple of boxing gloves on. Is that Hitmonchamp? Hitmonlee kicked. Hitmonchamp punched. Machop chopped and wrestled. Yeah, Hitmonchamp is just in there with his boxing gloves. Some of these guys are like gods that live next to the sun and create life or sleep in volcanoes. And then the fucking fighting type are like, I just get up in the morning and hit the bag, dude. I'm on the grind set. I like to fucking go. He's in there shadow boxing to warm up. These Pokemon have the same warm up as like a fucking UFC flyweight. And they're going to go fight a dragon. I always thought that way. And they win sometimes. They come in there rock type. They're like, I'm a fucking boulder. It's like, guess again. Here's a left hook, you stupid pussy. That's hilarious, dude. Oh, my God. Okay. And also, one thing I learned, because I dug into this. So there's a fighting type are weak against flying, fairy, and psychic moves. So flying makes sense. You're up in the air. How am I going to kick punch a fairy? I guess you just don't want to hurt. It's like a fairy. It's beautiful. You don't want to damage it. And psychic makes sense. It's a mind versus body kind of thing. I'm attacking you inside your skull. But they're strong against dark, ice, normal. Of course, normal. Fuck these normal. Punch him out. This cow shows up on the scene. I'm going to fucking kick him in the nuts. Rock and steel. So rock and steel you'd think would be resistant to fighting type. Not a fucking chance, dude. The fucking fighting type comes in. Body shot. Let's take him into deep water. That's sick, dude. I love that. Okay. But I also thought they might be weak against poison type. Because you're like, okay, if I'm fighting type, I gotta get in close. Poison, that's where poison's most effective, within the range of the poison. But nah, these guys, they're just like, I don't give a shit, dude. You're gonna try and bite me with your fangs? Uppercut in the jaw. Close your mouth, jackass. And this rolls right in to the greatest fighting type of all time, Conor McGregor. Conor motherfucking McGregor, dude. So when Conor was on his rise, I never was like a huge Conor fan. No, I wasn't like against Conor, but I just like, he wasn't a guy who like, he was the biggest name. So you're tuning in to see him, but I never was like, oh man, he's my guy. Like I was repping Conor super hard. And I also think I wasn't as into the UFC at that time in my life. I was really in high school, then fell off, and then I got back into it. But I do acknowledge that he fucking changed the sport, got it way on the map, and he's the biggest celebrity to ever come into the UFC. He's one of the biggest celebrities in the world. But there's this like the mythos of Conor I love. I am a big Conor fan now because of how chaotic of a human being he is constantly. The entertainment value that comes out of this man is immeasurable. It's like Trump level memeability that comes out of him. He is truly one of the greatest entertainers of all time. Truly, dude. I don't know if you guys witnessed any of this. If you're not in the MMA sphere, you might not know what's going on. So to give you a quick run up, Conor was supposed to fight in a UFC like a couple UFCs ago, and he didn't, and there was a multiple things that came out. There was something that said that he had an injury, he had like a broken toe. There was another thing that said he was going to rehab, and so this fight got canceled. Supposed to fight Michael Chandler, who's a pretty good striker. Like he's a guy who always goes out on his shield, and all of his fights are super entertaining, ultra athletic guy. And so that fight never happened, and they just been like kind of shit talking each other forever. And the problem is Michael Chandler seems like a really good guy too. Seems like a nice guy. He has an adopted son, black kid. Now you can't be a bad person if you're adopting black kids. It's just those are just the rules, dude. So that fight was supposed to happen, then it didn't happen. It's like, Conor's going to rehab. Like 3 days after they said Conor's going to rehab, he was like seen with a beer in his hand partying. I think this was close to when there was that picture of him and like the midget, and then they were like, like she was trying to get fucked by Conor, and then he walked away, and then a picture came out later that was like him carrying her, and it's like, she actually maybe did fuck Conor McGregor. Who knows? And it seems like there's been multiple things where Conor's like spotted with some chick and she's like kind of busted. And I like that about him. I like that you think if you're like, he's probably worth like several $100 million. You'd think at that level, it's only dimes. Only a dime can get close to Conor. But he's kind of like, whatever, dude. He's still just dogging the dogs, which is kind of sick. It's kind of sick that he's like, well, you're a little busted, whatever. Come on, jump in for a bit. Let's just tangle. Let's see what you got. I'll give you a chance. That's not a lot of rich, famous dudes are gonna give you a chance if you're kind of like a 6. But Conor apparently will, which is like, I love that about him. But everyone's like, is he gonna fight? Is he gonna fight? And he's like, I'm in the gym, I'm training. And then every week, it seems like there's a video of him just getting fucking sloshed. There was the midget one, of course, and now recently he went onto like a gambling platform, and I guess he was doing some sort of promo. He was playing blackjack or something on there. I didn't do too much of a deep dive into what was going on, but the clips were incredible because it seemed like he definitely was drinking because he was cracking Guinness, slurping them back, and it seems like maybe he got a little chotched as well. I have seen a guy skiing enough times in my life to know. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he wasn't chotched, but it seemed like he could have had a couple. And just to get in the zone, dude. And I think if he does fight again, I don't know if he ever will. He doesn't need to. But if he does, let him come in chotched up. I want chotched, steroided Conor. I want them to, we don't test him. If you're going to fight, I think if you fight Conor, that needs to be in the contract that we're going to test you. You have to be clean. But Conor can be as dirty as he wants. And that's good for TV. That's good for TV, dude. He's in my top. I think he's my number one. I think he's my number one want to party with person. I take it pretty easy now. I haven't got chotched up in a long time. I barely drink anymore. Back in the day, I would party. Back in the day, I was a guy that was like, you don't really make it out unscathed if you party with me. So basically what would happen is, this is when it kind of clicked in for me. So this is the best way to put it is, I had a buddy come out. Oh, like we were like partying. It was his birthday or whatever. We went out for drinks and then it was a bunch of us. And then next day he's texting me. He's like, oh, I puked. And I was like, oh yeah, you puked. And I wasn't really like shocked by that. And then I realized, I was like, yeah, everyone who parties with me pukes. I don't puke. Because I puked a lot in high school, and then I think I just like kind of built up an immunity to puking. Where like my body's like, we don't puke. We put pizza on it. You get a pizza, you put it on the booze, and that's the only saving grace you have. I've fully blacked out, and then blackout me like keeps drinking and partying and goes on his own adventure. And then I've missed I think it was like New Year's. I can't remember what year it was, but I remember blacking out at like right after the ball dropped and tuning in at like 5:30 in the morning. So it was like a 5-hour gone. And I was like, and there's snippets of what happened in there. Like I can remember glimpses, and I remember the people I ran into, and I went up to them and was like, hey man, sorry if I was really obnoxious or shitty. And they're like, no, you were actually super friendly. So it's good. Drunk me he's a good guy. He's a good guy. He's a nice dude. Yeah, I was like, they clicked for me where I was like, oh yeah, I am probably just not anymore, but I'm like a complete enabler when I'm in party mode. Like any sort of debaucherous thing you want to get into, once I've had like 2.5 drinks. Once 2.5 drinks go in the system, I actually just talked about this on a podcast, so why it's so hard to be like, oh, I'm having 1 drink or 2 drinks, because the promises you make as sober you aren't the 2 drink you. He's like, I didn't make those promises. That's a different guy who just made those promises. So now that we're 2 drinks in, I have a different mindset, different purpose, different goals. And those goals might be 3, 4, 5 more drinks. So whenever I would go and party, I would be like the big enabler. I would be like, I'm like, okay, so there's someone's like, you want to grab a bag? You want to get a pizza? Should we get fucking go see the peelers? Like, let's fucking, what are we doing? What are we doing? It's yes to every one of them, which is why partying with Conor, I think, would be so good because for one, it's like unlimited resources. And I think he could party me under the table. I think the dude is probably as good a partier as he is a champion. Two-time champ, first two division champ in the UFC. I think he's even like whatever the divisions are for partying, 3-4 division champ of party. I think that's where Conor lies. But if I was with him, he'd be like, you want to do this? You want to do a bump? Let's get on a private jet. Let's go to Belarus. Let's go fucking dance with these dancers. Let's get some hookers. We end up in Thailand. I would go on a multi-week bender with Conor. No regard for anything else in my life. I would leave it all behind, and then he would drop me off at like an airport somewhere with like a bag and my passport and be like, hey, it was a good time, and then never talk to me again. But if I had that opportunity, I would 100% take it. Number one on my list of people I would love to party with. And everything, he could tell me some crazy story. Yeah, I fought, I don't know, Cormier in a back alley and beat the shit out of him. And I wouldn't be like, really? I would just be like, that happened. Yes. Keep the good times going. We're not getting off the good time train. My body would pay the price too. I'd probably take several years off probably specifically my brain. Brain would probably take the most damage, but it'd be worth it. It would be worth it, dude. How deep are we? Oh my God, we're 40 minutes in. Okay, let's get to the write-ins, guys. We have a whole section. I had a whole other thing written out that we're not even touching. There was this thing I saw. We'll briefly touch on it. This guy, Steve Max. So basically he is a professional Simon Says guy where he like does the whole Simon Says thing. And I saw him, there's like this streamer competition where people were doing Simon Says and like how good they were at it. And a clip of them doing it went viral. And how fast you have to be at Simon Says and how confusing it is. I would be out immediately. But this guy has been doing this since like 2003 and like does halftime shows for like the NBA and all these different like professional leagues. He's like one of the most demanded things and I see the appeal because Simon Says, we all know it, easy, but nah. Everything can be done at an expert level, and it's just very interesting to see him do it at an expert level. So I like went into his stuff. He like did perform at the NFL draft and shit like that. But I mean, we're already fucking getting strapped for time. So just a shout out to Steve Max and Simon Says. Okay, right in time. So this Patreon write-in, guys. Patreon write-in. Remember, guys, if you subscribe to the Patreon, you can write in. You get an extra episode every week. That fucking extra episode. You get ad-free episodes. You get the ability to write in, and you get access to the Discord, and you get fucking what else? What's the other shit? There's something else in there that I can't remember. There's always a part that I forget. And I can't remember. It's $5 a month. $5 a month. Dude, it's literally less than the price of if you go to Starbucks, you get a large actually, no, I think that's like 3 something. So with the tipping, no. But yeah, it's very affordable. You're getting a lot of content. And hey, like I said, every week we get a few more people. It goes up. Appreciate the support. And of course, we have our Patreon goal. Once we hit 232 patrons, the Patreon is now self-sufficient, or the podcast is self-sufficient. It pays for itself. And I will get the words dark holes tattooed on the inside of my lip. My first tattoo ever. Very exciting stuff. Okay. Right in time. So this write-in comes in from Anonymous, of course. But which is like, I think I have the most anonymous write-ins of anyone. Yeah, it's got to be up there. But okay. Back when I was 13 years old or so, I was at peak puberty. I was over at a friend's house and I asked for his mom's phone so I could call for a ride home. I snooped through her photos and sent some soapy booby and vag pics to my email and deleted the evidence. I know it's wrong, but I don't regret it. Oh my God, dude. That is some nefarious shit, dude. That just goes to show the level of horny that teenage boys are at. I remember when I was that horny. I get sparks of it every now and again. When I'm like really hitting the gym a lot and then I'm eating really clean and I can tell it's like, oh, my testosterone's fucking clicking right now. I get to this level of horny where I'm like, this is uncomfortable. I need to get rid of this. Like, I can't jerking off several times a day. It's not good for the mind or the body. Oh, I don't know, good for the mind or the body. It's an inefficient use of time. But I remember, I don't think I told this story on the pod, but probably the most nefarious thing I did to watch porn was when I was a kid. My parents found porn on the computer several times. So I basically got locked out of all things that had access to the internet. Like I couldn't use the computer. That back then that was really the only thing. But there was nothing. There was nothing I could get up that had access to the internet, so I could search up porn. I even had a friend come over and hack the computer once, so I could get the password, which was pretty impressive, actually. But what ended up happening was my parents had a Nintendo Wii. And I convinced my parents, I was like, we need to get Wi-Fi in the house. So I got to play Xbox 360 online, which was true. I wanted to play Halo 3 online with my friends. But the real reason was because my parents had the Wii. And the Wii, which my parents weren't technologically advanced to know this. This is a thing why you can never, for parents who are worried about their kids getting into stuff, they will. Because they are just way savvier than you, unless you are constantly educating yourself on what's going on in the world while simultaneously working your career and providing for them. You're not going to be able to keep up. But there was a browser on the Wii that my parents didn't know about. And I used that browser to watch porn in the living room. In the living room, like it was my house. I was like, this is my house. This is my place. I watched porn in the living room on the big screen TV, dude. There was several things they caught porn-wise. They never, ever found out. I mean, maybe they did. And they just didn't do anything about it. But I'm pretty sure they never found out about that. And that was sweet. Watching porn on the Nintendo Wii in the living room, home alone. That ruled, dude. That ruled. But this guy, formerly a kid, this guy, grown man now, doesn't regret sending his friend, when you're that young, you don't isn't like this criminal aspect of it. It was just pure horniness that he did that. But it was like he snooped. He snooped and was nefarious. He deleted the evidence. It's criminal activity for sure. Criminal activity for sure. She didn't know. Crazy though that those were just. But hey, it's like you're a young mom maybe. And you're out there, you're dating, you're still, you got a life of your own. You're still being sexy, you're still being sexual, you're doing all your stuff. You don't think about, and you can't think about that's the thing where I'm saying these kids are too technologically advanced. They find sketchy ways to do shit. You're not thinking about, he's going to go into my photos and snoop around and email himself. That's the fucking craziest part. Emailing yourself, dude. If you got caught... Because now you're like, I look back on it, I don't regret it. Because you didn't get caught. That's why you don't regret it. If you went back to that scenario and you did get caught, it would have been... Because then you're like, your parents start looking at you in this horrible way. Your parents start looking at you in a way where they're ashamed of you. They're ashamed that they raised you in this way. And they also are terrified about who you're going to become as a person. We're like, a lot of kids do fucking crazy shit. Like, this is some crazy shit. Like, I was watching porn. I mean, I wasn't stealing nudes from a friend's mom. I think what you did was a little crazier. If you had been caught, your parents they would have looked at you in a completely different light. They would have been like, oh my God, what is wrong with our son? Is he a criminal? Is he going to grow to be a criminal? He's some sort of sex pervert. And you would have to go to counseling. There might have been like some legal action. You've been cut off. That word would have got around to the other parents that you did that. And then you wouldn't have been allowed to hang out with other kids. Like, it would have, the shift in your life would have been so drastic if you had gotten caught for that. And that the reason you don't regret it is because all it was for you was a victimless crime in your mind. Was you took this lady's nudes, you meat to it a few times. It was purely like, I bet in your heart there wasn't any sort of maliciousness to it. It wasn't, you weren't like, I'm gonna take her news and I'm gonna send them to my friends and all, and then we're gonna all like, and I'm gonna fuck this lady's life. It was just a pure horny thought as a young kid. But if you had been caught for that, you would have been this weird, sick, perverted kid that all the other parents were warned about, and you wouldn't have been able to do anything like with your friends, and you probably wouldn't have even known. It would have been like, oh, like, hey, Jackson, do you want to hang out? And I'd be like, oh, no, I can't hang out. And you'd be like, oh, why not? I don't know, my mom said I can't hang out with you. And it's like, what? And you would have been like that. Maybe you would have gotten something like that, or they'd just been like, I'm busy. Just tell them you're busy. And it's like, you would have just all of a sudden been excommunicated from a lot of your friends. Or now I'm just thinking of where the next evolution of it would happen, because then you get excommunicated, and then one kid would have pressed his parents and been like, why? And then if they told him, then the story would have gotten to everyone. And then they would have been like, you took her I heard you took her mom's nudes. And then if it got back to you and you'd be like, she knew, oh my God. Oh, and then it would have been this whole thing. You would have been freaked out about it. And then maybe the nudes, someone would have been like, can I see? And then they would have gone into your phone and sent it to them. And then it would have started to spread in the school. And then you would have ruined this woman's life. And you would have been the source of it. Your greedy peen would have been the source of it. And then you would have for sure regretted it. For sure. But the way it started and ended, it was a bloop, bloop, all within your world. It all existed within your space. She didn't know. He didn't know. Your buddy didn't know. Only you knew. Only you knew. And you just schnick your bleak. And that was it. And now I know. But of course, anonymous. Crazy, though. Crazy. Okay. Oh, we only got 10 minutes left. Let's get into a write-in. So this one comes from the show in Tempe. So at some of my shows I've been talking about, I figured my friend's butthole after your show in Tempe. He said he hated it, but he was moaning. Okay. So for those of you who have come to any of my live shows, sometimes I talk about fingering butts and how I haven't had my butthole fingered. And I get into it, and sometimes people in the crowd talk about it, blah, 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 and it's a whole thing about fingering butts. But I did this in Tempe, and I guess some lady took what she says, my friend. My friend is crazy. I figured my friends, to describe him as my friend, like, it's one thing if you describe him as like a fuck buddy, or obviously you're not boyfriend or girlfriend, but like my sneaky link, or my hookups or whatever. But my friend, I guess, yeah, there's a couple chicks who I have banged a few times, and I definitely we're friends for sure. We're definitely friends. But I don't know if I would describe as a friend. It's just such a straight. It's like, hey, hey, I got tickets to go see Shade Arena. Oh yeah, that's great. And you guys have never fucked. There's never been a sexual chemistry between you. Oh yeah, then you go to the show. Yeah, talked about, and he goes, I've never had my butthole fingered. And you go, hey, we're such good pals. Why don't I finger your butt? He goes, you know what? That's actually a fucking great idea. We are such good pals that you should be the one to finger my butt. Why not? And he goes, I didn't like it. But the whole time he was like, yeah. That wasn't for me. But he's like, yeah, but that's my butthole. It feels so good on my butthole. And he goes, sorry. Nah. Those noises are unrelated to how I actually enjoyed the butt finger. Well, good for her. I mean, he says he didn't like it, maybe just to preserve some masculinity, or he's insecure about it or something. But if he was moaning, who knows? Okay, let's move on to the next write-in. Let's talk girl farts. Are we okay with them farting? Are we aroused by them farting? Those are two very different ends of the spectrum. There's there's no in between. Like, you couldn't find a happy medium on this question. Are we okay with them farting? Are we aroused by them farting? Me, yeah, I'm okay with chicks farting. This is something I didn't realize. My buddy was talking about his a girl farting, and apparently when girls fart, they this is actually no, I won't, because this is his bit. He does this in a bit, so I won't spoil the bit or try to lift the bit. But girls do fart, but they're like, they try to do it in like a cutesy way. So when they do it, like they fart differently than we fart. At least when they're around us. They want to preserve some femininity, even though they are farting. They never fully let loose. But when chicks are around chicks, sometimes they rip ass in disgusting ways, dude. Are we aroused by them farting? That's a personal thing on you. I personally am not. Farting doesn't do anything to me to be like, ooh, yeah. No, it's too funny. Like, it's so funny. It'd be like, are you aroused by someone, I don't know, stepping in dog poo or getting kicked in the nuts, or what's another gagging or puking? I find puking very funny. Are you aroused by those? It's like, no. Those are all comedic things for me, dude. Are you aroused by the movie Superbad? No, these are all comedic tones, dude. Yeah, I would say no, but I okay with it. Absolutely. Yeah, fart it up. I think ladies should be farting more. I think they should be pooping more, like more openly and in more adventurous ways. I think it's kind of sucks that ladies don't get to explore the different ways to poop and fart that dudes do. Like, I've seen dudes poop and fart in spectacular ways, bro. I saw this video of a dude who jumps off a cliff. He's like cliff diving. And as he jumps, he shits almost like a helicopter that has its flares that go like and fly out in either direction. That's artistic shitting. I've seen videos of dudes running and shitting. I've seen guys like shit off of ladders into toilets. I've seen like crazy street shits that people do. All sorts of stuff. I saw this one video of a dude who, like, he was wearing almost like a toga type kind of thing, and he just took a part of his toga down, quickly shit out fast, and then put it back up. And there was another one where is similar thing where this guy took down his jeans, shit, pulled them up, and then looked back at the shit as if to be like, hey, where did that come from? As if to sell it right away, like, ooh, is that shit? Where did you shit? That wasn't me. Who shit? Which I was like, clever move. If you're going to shit in public around people, really sell it right away that you're like, mystery shit. That's how you fart on a plane too. Because it's really hard to tell who farts on a plane because it's so loud on a plane. So you can really get away with some rancid farts. And once you smell the fart, you go like, you do that sort of side to side and just be like, that, like, you're like looking like the investigative look, tilt to either side. Who farted? Who would do such a nasty fart on it? Meanwhile, it's the whole time it's you. You really gotta sell. There he is again. Go away. You really gotta sell it. But yeah, ladies, fart it up. Next write-in. Would you participate in the freak off? So I said this before. Now, at the Diddy style freak off, I would not participate in, because the Diddy style freak off is like, it's criminal. It's violent, I would say. It's definitely like drug induced. It's exploitative. I was going to say exploitatory. Exploitative. It's a lot of bad things. But a freak off in a different context. I think I kind of said this on the Diddy stream or Diddy pod. You get some of your best friends, fuckers you can know. The people that you know that lay it down the greatest. You get a good ratio. You get a 5v5. Yeah. All in an apartment, put some tarps down, and you go to town for like a marathon fuck sesh. Baby oil slathered all like, use whatever lubricants you want, but you get into it. I would approve. I would approve of something like that. Within a context of everyone being consensual. It was the criminality of the freak offs that was the problem. It's not the art of the freak off itself, dude. It's like separate the art from the artist, as they say. Okay, I think we got time for one more write-in. Have you ever been with a black girl, or is it strictly Caucasians for you? I have been with plenty of black women. I've been with someone of every race, I think. There was that Donnell clip from fucking what's that podcast, Whiskey Ginger, when he goes, "Have you dated every race?" Andrew Santino says to Donnell, and he goes like, "Yeah, I think so. Not like the off-brand Asians," which is so funny. Off-brand Asians, because also immediately when he says off-brand agents, you go blip, like a little light goes off in your head. You go, I know exactly what you mean by off-brand agents. I know what you mean. I haven't dated a lot of people. I've dated like 3 people in my whole life, including like when I was in high school. So that list is very small. But slept with, I used to try and like hit especially when I was living in Mexico. I was like trying to hit as many countries as I could because it was such a big tourist spot. So like I don't know. Let's go through some of the countries like Argentina, Brazil, Germany, England, Spain, the Philippines, Korea, definitely America, Canada, Mexico, of course. I think Uruguay or Guatemala, one of those. Did I do any Eastern Europe? I don't know if I did Eastern Europe. I would have to like really dig in and go through a bunch of them again Italy. I know some of these are white places, but I'm just telling you, it's a large breadth of different people that have made it onto my peen. It's probably majority white, but I think that's more just location-based stuff. Actually, maybe it's not majority white. Huh. But yeah, it's a lot of different races. It's a lot of different. My dick is a smorgasbord. I'm more who comes to me, who shows up. You show up, and you're interested, I'll give it to you. That's the pod, guys. That is the pod. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Guys, remember, if you want more Chaderena content, you can go to Chaderena on all platforms. That's CHEDURENA. You can go to Chaderena.com. That's CHEDURENA.com. For all ticket and tour dates, it's also on Chaderena.com. The upcoming dates, again, we got Pittsburgh tonight. We got Tampa. We got Cincinnati. We got Uncastville, Connecticut. We got Spokane, Washington. Is it Spokane or Spokane? I think it's Spokane. Louisville, Kentucky. Toronto, Canada. Let's go. Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Lexington, Kentucky, and Appleton, Wisconsin. These are all dates coming up. We're going to be doing a big tour announcement probably actually, the tour announcement probably came out before this podcast came out. Yeah, you get all those dates there. Also, guys, if you want to get an extra ep, you can go to Patreon/Chaderena. Oh, yeah, and then on the Patreon ep this week, we're going to be talking about Pesto the Penguin, bad-dragon.com, which I said was the darkest dark hole I've gone into. Not darkest in terms of, like, depressing or, like, I don't know, sinister, but just, like, how far it went. Didn't get to the bottom of that. Soccer goalies. And then we have a write-in about banging your teacher. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. That's it. Bye.